I don't think that's possible with a $38 Fifine Amazon like knockoff, blue mic, but anything is possible. I did. I'm pretty sure I watched like a good like 5, maybe 7 minutes, 8 minutes of it, and I guess I just don't. I've never played Destiny, and so I had no idea what was going on. But it was fun to watch. It's interesting. It's interesting.
What is up, guys? Rick Kakis here.
Cool. For the most part, yeah. I ended up. What did I do all day? I ate things all day, which was fantastic. Yeah, woke up, made myself a. I love doing like a bagel and then cutting it into 4 pieces, like taking each half and cutting it in half, and then doing 4 different toppings for the bagel. It's just like bagel smorgasbord. It was awesome. Do one with bless you, with cream cheese and lox. Do one with like a strawberry preserves. Do one with blueberries. It turns out real well. So did that. Then I think, what did I eat for lunch? I had. Oh yeah, I went. A friend of mine owns a Japanese restaurant in San Mateo, so like a 30-minute drive away. Drove down there, spent about an hour just chatting with her because I haven't seen her in it's been a while, um, and picked up a salmon belly, and like her her mom is the chef, and her mom cooked up a salmon belly, and it was the fattiest, most delicious salmon I have had in years, which is great. And had some mackerel as well along with it. Yeah, and then dinner was a Vietnamese place called Ben Tre. So literally, I've just been eating all day. It's been good. Yeah, no. I can't stop my brain from constantly going over and over and over on all the things that I could be doing, but, you know. Yeah, it never does. It never does. I love how this works. So I had to update the game, and that took like a good 3 or 4 minutes. And now I just click play, and now it says it has to download another 140 megs worth of stuff. It's like, thanks. Thanks, game. Okay, cool. Well, I should be done downloading in just about a minute. Did you end up playing Untitled Goose Game? Yeah. Yeah, you should definitely play it, and you should stream it, and you should print. There are so many geese There's so many things that are the goose. Okay, cool.
All right. So yeah, I want to play games like that on the stream. I mean, the goal long term for this is to tag it with whatever game I'm playing, usually with a casual tag as well, because I don't really want to be too competitive since I'm approaching 40, and that becomes harder and harder for me seemingly every week. But ideally, whatever I stream is something that I'm going to print is going to be related to that. So next week, I hopefully all week I'm going to be streaming Maneater, which I don't know if you've seen any of the trailers for that game, but you play as a shark and you eat people, and I figured that was a good streaming choice for Shark Week.
Yeah, no, that sounds great.
So I'm going to be 3D printing like shark teeth and jaws and little shark keychains, and I'll be raffling them off as I hopefully reach enough followers. The goal for the next month is for me to hit 50 followers and an average viewership of 3 viewers so that I can hit affiliate status.
Cool.
Because then I can start rolling ads and I can start taking subscriptions and bringing money into feedback into the channel and print cooler stuff and hopefully do some more raffle-based stuff using the printer as a custom color.
Cool.
But whenever, you or something that we're working with has a functional app where people can actually do scans, we'll be able to advertise that here and let people know that they can go download it and print up some cool stuff, and we can showcase some of that cool stuff here on the channel.
Very cool.
But it does feel like I have signed up for a second job.
Second job, third job, and fourth job.
Yeah, I ran into the realization that with the monitor that I ordered and the streaming that I've been doing, my PC, which I built 4 years ago, was a pretty beefy gaming rig, is no longer really up to the task of streaming stuff in 4K and recording in 4K while doing a bunch of other stuff in the background. So I had to order components for a new computer this week, and that was the whole thing. I started looking at Ryzen processors and Intel, and
I feel like everyone that I've spoken to recently who's built a rig has been very focused still on Intel. They have not yet moved to AMD, just because I think from the specific games that they're playing and or the specific tasks that they're running, the Intels that are, at a reasonable price are still better than the Ryzens, but...
Well, I went with Intel, just because I think I've only built one AMD machine in my entire life.
Yeah, I built, back when I was buying and selling computers and parts, I built probably, 50 or 60 Athlon machines in a year. And I also had, I think I built like 20 or 30 Semprons, which was hilarious because those were such garbage, but people only looked at the gigahertz. They didn't even pay attention to what the CPU was.
Yeah, I ultimately decided... it started with... I thought that I could just upgrade the processor on my current rig. Because the i9 9900... Or 9900 is a LGA 11... whatever it was. Same socket as my processor. But unfortunately, the chipset is no longer the same. So I realized that if I was going to upgrade my processor to that, I'd have to upgrade my motherboard, which turned into, if I'm going to upgrade my motherboard, I might as well get the new LGA 1200 socket processors because it's more future forward. And then it snowballed into a whole thing of, well, then I need a new water block for my processor, which means I should probably get a whole new cooling loop and a whole new everything, and it turned into I basically just built a whole new computer. Oh shit.
Oh. First time for everything.
Looks like I won't be dying today.
I definitely think that finding some way to license in-game stuff and have a pipeline for getting that stuff 3D printed. I think in this
That would be awesome if you can come up with some way. Even honestly, like if there was just a company that would allow like individual licensing of game assets, that would be phenomenal. Like where you can personally license for the purposes of, you know, printing or like making T-shirts, like at small scale. That would be super cool.
Choose a talent. Power grows.
Well, I still think that you know, whether it's oh crap, that almost killed me. Some sort of licensing combined with facial scanning and being able to put yourself like on a character that you kind of like I don't know if you remember NBA 2K a few years ago had a whole thing where like you could use your Xbox's camera and take a photo of your face and it would put you on a NBA player's body.
Yeah.
Something like that that ultimately also results in being able to 3D print what you've created. I mean, Microsoft sort of has a pipeline for that already for printing your Xbox avatar, and I do plan on doing a live stream tutorial on how to export that stuff, including a link on our website on where you can submit it to get it printed. But I think that kind of stuff is really the future, where you're basically being able to create your own customized collectible for your desk. Funko Pops are cool, but I think it's way cooler to have something that nobody else can possibly have.
Oh yeah, yeah. Being able to customize it is definitely an entirely different game.
Should I even be here?
And I mean, and as far as I know, I don't think full color 3D printing is something that's going to be available for people at home anytime soon. Not in any appreciable way. I did see a mod when I was first starting custom color for a Prusa that allows you to do some sort of like sandstone style printing on a Prusa.
Yeah, I remember seeing something similar to that as well. I feel like that was definitely that product. It never really saw the light of day. I remember talking to the guys from, what's the name of the company? It started with an S.
Raw's coming.
The name of the company that had the FDM add-on that would merge filament.
Oh, yeah. The one that's like the 4 filaments into one, or
Yep, exactly.
Are you talking about? So there are 2 competing ones that I saw. There was one that was, fuck, I can't think of it now. I spoke to the CEO of the company, Palette.
It was like Palette, yeah.
And that's not really.
There was also Spectrum.
Yeah, it was Spectrum, the one that actually you could put like CMYK filament in and it would mix on the fly. Yeah, that one was. That to me seemed like it had a lot more promise.
Yep.
But I imagine that balancing the ratios was a nightmare. Like, I imagine it never really came out quite the way that they wanted it to.
I will fulfill my destiny.
Yep. Yeah, no, I think you are correct. It never really did 100% of what they wanted it to do.
Yeah, it's 3D printing is definitely still one of those things that there's a really big gap between the industrial level and the home base stuff. Especially when you're talking about like edge case scenarios like full color or metal or carbon fiber. I mean, I don't think metal printing's ever going to come to the home.
No, I mean, I have to admit that I never expected the SLA printers to get as cheap as they have. Like, the home printing single color, it's not going to be perfect, but it's pretty decent for, like, printing miniatures at this point. But at the same time, like, yeah, getting to color on that, it's going to take a whole heck of a lot more development and a whole heck of a lot more money into the process to be able to get that to the point where, you're actually able to color them.
Well, like my designer's got a SLA printer in his apartment, and he uses it for cosplay stuff. And he showed me some photos of stuff he's printed. It is remarkably impressive for how cheap that machine is.
Yeah, no, I want to say that I've seen a couple of different Elegoo printers, and like it just kind of blew my mind with the level of detail that they're able to produce for virtually no money. It's like $200 for a printer, and it can print at 10 micron. So.
Yeah, we taking we almost got one tower down.
Yeah.
What was that mode that we played with the... Was that just a random mode that we got assigned to? The one where, like...
The one where, like, we have to get to the point and, like, take or hold the point for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what that was called.
I like that one. That was good.
Yeah, it was good.
What is turning stuff into these... Oh, no. Oh, no.
What would you do?
I just, like, walked into, like, 4 guys. I did notice, because after we spoke last night, I did try to load up my stream from last night just to see why you might have had, like, the still frame and audio only. There was definitely something wrong with the transcoding on that. Because when I go to play it, like, unless you skip the first 5 minutes, there's an error with it.
Oh.
And I can't figure out why that happened.
I can't remember what section I ended up watching. I think I just opened it and... Jeez. Rainer, leave me alone. Ah,
I knew we could do
there are
this.
so many of them.
So are your weeks getting at least a little bit less stressful now that you're kind of in a flow?
Yeah, no, I mean it's been a lot of time, but I feel like I'm not burning myself out as quickly. Like there were a couple of nights there where it definitely felt like I was scraping the bottom of the barrel, but more recently, I think it's been just, I'm working 12 to 14 hours in the day, but it's not like a painful 12 to 14 hours.
Right.
So. Also definitely helping that, like, things are starting to look like they're working. So, I mean, I feel like that's an always thing. You're like, if things are working well and you feel like you're making progress, then you can take as much time as you want and it still feels like things are going well.
Yeah, it's kind of the boat that we're in. We were really concerned, not to a degree that we were freaking out, but just with COVID and everything and the downturn and how many jobs were coming in, but we've had enough stuff in the boiler, added to the boiler over the last week that, by the end of the year, I'm confident are going to turn into some fairly large volume ongoing projects. That it's definitely been a lot of work, but a lot more of a relief knowing that these are, things are moving in a trajectory that's a little bit more normal.
Yeah.
Whatever normal is now.
Exactly. Yeah, whatever it is. I'm
very excited that supposedly Monday or Tuesday We're going to be doing some, I told you we're going to be doing that drone test, where we're doing a scan of my building.
Yeah.
So that'll be a really cool thing to see how that turns out and how it prints. And I mean, kind of the idea I had behind that is for a lot of these really nice luxury high-rises, it would be cool if they could give, you know, a keychain of the building to new tenants when they sign a lease. So we're going to try to create something that's keychain sized.
That would be kind of cool.
You're almost not worth it.
I mean,
I
I'd,
wondered for a long time why, like, when you're buying a commercial building, why you don't actually just get a tiny version of it. So
I know,
that you can
right?
actually, like, have it in your office and show it. You know, especially, like, if you're gonna put $100 million into a building, why don't you spend the, you know, $3,000 that would cost to have a miniature of it so that you can actually, like, show people visually what you've created? Especially if the architecture is, you know, super cool.
well, you know, I think part of the problem with that is that up until very recently, it's been super expensive to get that done. Both, not just from the printing standpoint, but just getting somebody to model it. You didn't have drones that could basically automatically fly around a building and do a 3D scan of something.
True.
But I think, you know, one of the things that Terry sees is that that's a burgeoning market, and I wish him the best for it. If I can help him turn that into something that generates revenue for him and for me, then, you know, everybody wins.
Yep.
I mean, that's the hard part, as you know from, you know, working with me over the last year, is that, you know, I can't chase every single one of those things myself. You know, to some extent, I have to work with guys like Terry and people like you, so that I can't, you know, I can't be the one creating all the pathways towards 3D printed stuff, because there's just too many cool opportunities out there. I'd rather just, you know, help nudge people in the directions that make sense.
Yeah.
The really painful part of this year, and with everything with COVID, and especially since I hired Nico's, you know, he was so involved in the cosplay community, and he's turned me on to a bunch of opportunities that we could have pursued in the con space, not just in the fandom space like Comic-Con, but like I guess there's an adult entertainment expo in Chicago every year that, looking at the floor plan and looking at the type of people who are going to be there, I think that would have been a good place to get people to do figurines, you know, fandom type stuff.
Yep.
Should I even be
And it sucks. It's all just gone. You know, it's just like, and who knows when it's coming back.
your grave?
I asked him how the cosplay community is reacting to all this, like whether or not people are even, oh shit,
Death is an inescapable.
whether or not, you know, people in that community are still working on costumes and stuff. And he said it's pretty much ground to a halt, because if you've got nowhere to showcase the work that you're doing, why, you know, why put the time and effort in?
Yep.
Is your wife's school year starting up soon, or?
Well, it is. You know, we've been talking a lot about that because the district has yet to actually give a definitive answer as to what the start of the year is really going to be like, and then what the rest of the year is really going to be like. You know, it feels to me like we're not going to have in-person school at all this calendar year. Like, that's probably what's going to happen. And then, you know, as we get further into this semester, I think we're probably going to find out sometime in November that we're still going to be doing remote or distance learning, rather, for the fall. So
My spells are ready.
I mean, but she was doing remote teaching at the end of last school year, right? I mean, so it's not.
yep.
Did she hate it, or?
I mean, yeah, but it's better than being in the classroom at 9. So,
Well, yeah. I mean, that's.
she can't really complain about it. So, we've talked about it quite a bit, and like, you know, it seems as though the bottom line is, like, she's happier to be in a situation where That's kind of a clusterfuck. Yeah, she's happier to be in a situation where she has to deal with the distance learning than being in the classroom. So. Oh, lovely.
Hey, we're getting better. We're winning more
We
often.
are getting better.
We're getting better at the lowest difficulty level you can
That's right.
possibly play at.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, is the feeling in San Francisco that generally in support of students staying out of in-person learning, or?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, so Newsom, our governor, stepped in and said, if you are on the list, you are not allowed to open schools, period, in person. And being on the list means that essentially your county has I want to say has a rate of more than 1 in 100, I think. Or it's more, I can't remember what the rate calculation is, but there is some form of rate calculation. Let's see if there is there a way for us to choose the map?
I don't know. I think I can change my loadout. I wish there were, like, costumes for this. I really like playing this character, but I don't like any of her costumes.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. You can get a surfboard.
Well, I guess we'll just do the same thing again and see what map we end up on. But yeah, the governor pretty much said you can't start classes in person until you are off the list for at least 2 weeks. And the way that the numbers are coming in, we are still growing on a week-over-week basis. So we got put on the list. The likelihood that we're gonna come
I can
off
hardly wait.
the list is near zero, at least for the next, like, 3 months.
Gotcha.
So, you know, if we end up in a position where it looks like we're going to come off the list, then the city and county will have to make the decision whether they're going back or not. But they've already announced that the first schools to go back will actually be elementary. And then they're going to do other schools, like, at least 2 to 4 weeks after elementary goes back. Because they've deemed that it's really elementary kids that truly need to be in a classroom, because they really can't do anything remote. You know, the learning ability for them is near zero.
Yeah, but I also feel like that's also, like, the worst demographic to be back in school as far as trying to be...
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I mean, they lick each other. So
yeah, exactly.
There's no getting around it. They lick each other and, you know, spit on each other and try to eat each other's hands. So, you know.
And Kayla and I went out this morning to just go... We went, well, the first thing we went out to do was admittedly a frivolous, stupid, not essential COVID thing.
Where'd you go?
So I don't know if you follow Lego and what they've been releasing, but they just launched a whole Mario line of Legos.
Really?
Yeah, in collaboration with Nintendo, including a limited edition set where you build an actual little NES cartridge, controller,
That's
and
awesome.
TV. And it went on sale last night, or at midnight. And when I woke up this morning to check, it said that it was sold out or unavailable, so I assumed it was sold out. But it was in stock at the Lego store in Chicago.
That's dope.
So I was like, well, let's go. So the website said they opened at 10, and I didn't really explore any further. We got there at 10, and it turns out they didn't open until 11, and I wasn't going to wait. And while I was waiting in line, they went back on sale in the store, so I just ordered it online and we left. So I walked away empty-handed, but I'll have it in 5 to 7 days, and it'll be yet another thing that I'll live stream on the channel.
Cool.
Which I don't know if that works well or not, because my channel has no consistency as far as, other than Destiny, what game I'm playing, and I guess 3D printing, and I don't really know what I'm going to 3D print while I'm putting a Lego set together.
I mean,
Can I print bricks? Is that legal?
it's not legal, but I mean, you can do it.
I bet you if I printed bricks on the HP, they'd turn out really well.
Oh, I'm sure they would.
I should try that.
Retreat.
I guess I
It'd
could.
be really fun to, on the HP, like print all the original space pieces from the first space.
Oh,
set
that don't
for
exist
Lego.
anymore.
Yeah, that they don't make exactly.
Well, the only ones I wouldn't be able to produce are those like day glow translucent pieces that.
If this were easy,
Yeah.
everyone would do it.
I could. Oh, I mean, if we still end up getting an SLA printer, I could print them on that. I mean, we still at some point over the next year we want to get a Form 3L,
Cool.
and we are looking. I don't know if you've seen it, the Stratasys J55 that was just announced a few months ago.
Is that the smaller one?
Yeah, it's the really small polyjet printer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not crazy about how small it is, and it has limitations compared to its bigger brothers, but we get enough requests for polyjet stuff that I want to look at least getting some sort of polyjet. I don't think we'd ever use it for scale, because I still don't think polyjet is really scalable.
Shall we see who gathers enough tribute this time?
It's not just because the print speed. But
The print speed, the cost of the machines, everything that goes along with the post-production. I mean, whoever's doing the prints for Hero Forge, whatever place is doing those prints on Mamaki, I want to know how they're disposing of all the waste material, because that's got to be a huge pain in the ass.
yeah, we're gonna hope that they don't have a river next their office.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially since, I mean, if what Mamaki, because, that guy, I don't know what that guy's name is, Fred something or other, who posts, like, everything that's printed on a Mamaki under the sun, he shared a video of the Hero Forge stuff being printed, and it looks like they're using an insane amount of support material because they're stacking them on top of each other. And I mean, it's got to go somewhere.
Retreat.
It's going in a dump or some
Yep.
municipal water supply.
Yep.
I had the brainstorm idea on Thursday for printing a sphere on the HP with a very thin shell and coming up with some sort of interference pattern on the inside that would put enough agent down to dye
Gather tribute.
a significant portion of the
Simple.
powder so that you could use them for gender reveals. Like a baseball, you could smack it and it would explode into, blue or pink.
That would be awesome.
I don't know if it'll actually work, but we're gonna try a small scale test.
That seems generous.
I mean, that's definitely one of the nice things about having a designer on staff now is that we have a lot more freedom to try kind of crazy ideas and work on some like seed starters for companies to look at and say, here's what you could be doing, if you have a use case for it.
For
we are revisiting the oh shit, I need to get the fuck out of there. The Millennium Falcon. He's colorizing the whole thing, and we're printing it at full size.
That sounds awesome.
It's gonna be like 4 feet wide.
Holy shit.
He colored one piece, and then we printed it just to do like a size test, and it was eye-opening as far as trying to figure out where the hell we're gonna put this thing. And
Too much for you.
but I think it'll be very cool when it's done.
If this were easy, everyone would.
I mean, a 4-foot wide Millennium Falcon. Yeah, that's gonna be really cool when it's done.
Complete with interior. He's also gonna model a Chewbacca and a Han Solo and R2-D2 and C-3PO to put inside the Millennium Falcon. Oh, speaking of crazy projects, I'll try to send it to you after this call. I have a scan ID from Terry that I need you to send me the file for. I don't think we printed the original, but it's the guy who wants the 6-foot-tall print. So, I mean, that project, I guess, is still alive. I don't know, you know, how that'll turn out. We'll have to figure out if that's going to make sense.
Cover myself.
But I'm very curious what a 6-foot-tall full-color MJF print will look like.
Insane is how it looks.
What's the largest Twindoms ever produced for a client?
I mean, we haven't produced it, but we have a client who currently is actually in the process of printing 136 life-size replicas of female scientists.
Oh yeah, that's the test one that we did.
Yep,
How does this feel?
exactly.
But they're doing that in a single color though, right?
Yeah, they're doing those as monochrome. Yeah,
Are they gonna paint them afterwards, or are they gonna leave them as monochrome?
they're gonna leave them monochrome.
That's still a cool print.
I mean, it's still super cool, but I'm down to like 7 health. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's one of the big things that's changed my gameplay in this, is knowing when to not just run away, but decide to actually teleport back and heal up.
Yep.
Because I mean, for a long time, I was just like, oh, just play until I die. But that death clock gets real bad.
It does.
Did you ever install Diablo on your computer?
Didn't, but I should.
Go back.
I hate to think this is the only game you've been playing on your PC. I know you play Catan,
No.
but is that? I'm assuming you're playing
I play
Catan.
mostly board games at this point, like because you know what I have enjoyed recently is mostly like playing Catan, Ticket to Ride, Splendor, Dominion.
Dominion's such a fun game. I
Dominion's
love Dominion. You play it on the PC?
Yeah, there's an online version that's free, on the online multiplayer version that's free. So
Is it on Steam?
no, it's just I think it's web browser. You just go to dominion.games, I think.
Wait, it's a licensed copy of a game that they sell in real life that they've made for free?
Yeah, it is.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's all right. I would check that out.
Yeah, no,
If
it's
this were
it's
easy,
great.
Everyone would do it.
I've played it with groups of friends. Also, occasionally just go play it against randos, or sometimes if I'm feeling like I don't want to deal with real people, I play against bots.
Very cool.
You can set the deck, and you can decide which cards you want to have in the deck.
Earn my favor.
Because I've been looking at, that's another thing I've been looking at 3D printing, or like boxes and game cases for, you know, card-based games, you know, organizational sets.
If this were
Yep.
easy, everyone would do it.
Isn't this where the trivia? Why? Oh, 8 seconds. God, I can't read.
That wasn't so hard.
Nice. Once again, walking away with 17 health. Well, let's just head back.
Yes, victory is
Get some
near.
extra help.
I really do think that tabletop gaming stuff, whether it's board games, RPGs, card-based stuff, if there's 3D printed stuff that I can produce at scale for some of the board game shops or board game companies, I think, you know, as people are stuck indoors, you know, playing stuff with their family, I think it's both a boon and a detriment to their business right now in certain respects. Although I wish I could get my family to play stuff other than, like, we play a lot of Clue online.
Gathers enough
And,
tribute.
and
Of
Uno.
course, there's online club.
You'll regret this.
My mom has the terrible habit of giving out all the information she has. I try to get them to do Catan, but my dad just won't do it. I don't know why. He's enjoyed it when we've played it in person. The problem is none of them have computers, so they whatever we play has to be on the iPhone or the iPad.
Oh, I might die.
Yeah, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Which is just really frustrating because that's kind of limited. And actually, my sister doesn't even have an iPad, and my dad doesn't have an iPad. So a lot of the games that I'd like to play with them, you know, we can only play ones that look okay on a phone, which is not many, just because there's, you know, such a small amount of screen real estate.
You know, actually, what I ended up doing, I ended up buying laptops for my parents, setting up all the games, and literally, I went and I dropped them off at the house.
You're a better man than I am.
I
That's
mean, it was that or have them complain every week. So, you know, it's like I didn't do it for them. I did it for me.
like my mom has an iPad, and it's still like pulling teeth to.
Yeah. No, that was why I literally I went and I set up all the games and I made accounts and I set them all up and I like wrote down all the passwords and everything and just handed them the device and the account information and like I did go so far as to write screenshot or like make screenshot tutorials, but I promise you I would do that if that were to be you know the case, like if it needed to happen.
Maybe I'll do that because my sister's coming to visit from California, which
Nice.
that's a whole other terrifying thing. But
My favor, heroes.
maybe I'll pick up like really cheap iPads and just set up a couple of games on them that we can play. I mean, the problem is it's really I love my father, but he's very stuck in his ways. It's like he plays Hearts. That's his game. And he loves Hearts. And don't get me wrong, Hearts is a fun game, but he's also, because it's the only thing he plays, he's so good at it that it's not fun for us to play with him. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he's counting cards and we're just trying to remember the rules to the game.
Yeah, my mom plays bridge. And
Yeah,
she is a grandmaster. Like she has effectively been playing bridge for 45 years, and there was a time that she was on the card for bridge. Like I have no way of she knows all the people who are on the card now, and it's just like I can't play bridge with her. She's just I mean, even though I'm on her team, like I make so many stupid mistakes, I just feel like I feel terrible. So
Well, that's why I bought there was a sale a few months ago on the App Store. And, you know, we're all on the family plan, so if I buy something, they all get access to it. So I bought the why can't I think of the name of the game company who makes Risk, and they make Monopoly, and they make the Game of Life, and they make
that
Clue.
would be Hasbro, I think.
Hasbro, yeah. So I bought their like a 4-pack. It had all 4 games, and the only one that everyone's willing to play is Clue. I would prefer we play Risk because that's like my favorite game.
Yeah, Risk is a lot more fun than any of those other ones because Risk is like one of the only ones that actually mostly skill. So,
well, so I would play. I would definitely play. Hang on, I'm trying to set up actual skill trees so I don't actually have to select stuff every time.
cool.
I would actually play Monopoly, mainly because, and I'm almost embarrassed to admit this, I have never actually played a game of Monopoly in my entire life.
Wait, you mean like you've never even started a game of Monopoly?
Oh,
I can say that I've only finished 3 games of Monopoly in my life.
I've like there's a couple times we've started, but it wouldn't be fair to say I played. Like we stopped after a half hour.
Oh, okay.
Like it never even got to the point where I've seen screaming start in the YouTube videos. Although one of my favorite things that Kayla and I have seen in a few of those compilation videos are little kids playing Monopoly, crying when they go bankrupt or have to pay taxes.
Oh, that's horrible.
I can see how that game teaches you a very valuable life lesson early on.
Yeah, buy property or you're
Yeah, right.
gonna die. And if you buy too much property, then like all you have to do is land on free parking.
Yeah, right.
And,
Exactly.
3, 2,
Like
1.
I did play a lot of Monopoly Junior when I was a kid, but I don't think that really counts.
yeah, no, it doesn't really count. There's also a lot of the do not pass go, do not collect $200.
Why not?
It's like you just go directly to jail. You learn that if you're in jail, all you have to do to get out is roll the dice. Right? It teaches some valuable lessons.
I will say that I played a lot of, and I'm not terribly embarrassed to admit this. I had a younger sister, so if I wanted to play board games, it was pretty much I had to find things that she would be willing to play. And so I played a lot of Mall Madness.
Oh my god, that was such a great game. Wait, was that the one that came with the
Digital Center? Well, it came with like the thing with the cards, and it would read off like your balances. Yeah. Yep, it was like one of the first digital board games.
Yeah, Mall Madness is actually like that's fantastic.
And its companion game that was marketed for boys, the Omega Code, which was basically like the same game but with like computer stuff. I played a lot of those too. One game that I was sad to see it must not have survived much longer than my generation because I don't think Kayla had heard of it. Oren most definitely had never heard of it. Is Crossfire.
Talent.
Did you ever play Crossfire?
I don't think I did.
Oh my god! I mean, maybe it was just a game that existed for a very brief window of time. It was basically a game that was a arena with 2 spring-loaded guns attached to the board, and a bag full of BBs or ball bearings, and a spinner in the center. And the goal was you had to like scoop up the bearings and load them into the gun and pull the trigger so that you shot them at the spinning thing in the center of the arena. And the goal was
dangerous.
Well, it didn't shoot very fast, but the goal was to get the rolling puck thing into the other person's goal. Oh man, I can't believe I thought for sure you would have heard of it.
I wish I had. It sounds awesome.
It was a pretty great game. A lot of, but the problem is like because of like all things with kids at that age, you lose a lot of the BBs or the steel bearings or whatever, and then eventually you'd have a board game that was unplayable. you have like 4 ball bearings, which did not make for a playable game. And I'm heading for an altar.
Nice.
Go forth.
I don't remember what these altars do in this one. Is this where like the things sweep across and do?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, this is how we win, right? Yeah.
Fire.
Because we can't actually attack their core.
Right.
Alright.
Why not? Didn't see this coming.
Might take any damage.
So you were born. So you were born in what year? 80.
89.
89. Yeah.
Yeah. I was born 1 month before the earthquake.
The earthquake.
Yeah, San Francisco, 89 earthquake.
I do not remember that.
Well, 1989 earthquake was the one in the middle of the World Series, which you may not have been paying attention to.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I was 6.
Yeah.
Oh, so we need to get more altars than they do at the countdown.
Talent? Ah, that seems generous.
I see. That's right.
All right then.
Nice.
Nice.
I am so good. I astound myself.
Yeah, it was, I believe that was a 7.1. And it was centered, like, I don't know. It was pretty far from San Francisco, like 170 miles, but it destroyed multiple freeways. And, like, there was, like, I'm fairly certain that part of the Bay Bridge collapsed. Like, it was a big thing here. It was like, you know, a lot of people left San Francisco after that because of the damage and destruction and, like, how long it took to rebuild from it.
Yeah, the only earthquake I really remember making big news when I was younger was the one in LA in, like, the mid-90s.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was pretty big, too.
The time is
I mean, every time I've been in California where there was an earthquake, I've been fortunate they were pretty mild.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time they are pretty mild. Like, we get here probably at least 3 or 4 that we can feel every year.
I mean, every once in a while, there's ones in the Midwest that there was one that I only knew what it was because I'd felt that in California, and when I Googled, like, it was their seismic activity, there was a small quake in central Illinois. But that's really rare. So how come we didn't... Oh, we fired 2. Okay. Oh, I'm getting fucked. There's 4 of them on me.
Yeah, and they're coming back for me now.
Well, you have fun dealing with that.
I'm just gonna, like, hit all of them with everything that I have and then walk away. Just because I can.
So did watching any of that Destiny gameplay last night, was that even a game that you would consider playing, or is that way outside your...
I would consider playing. I mean, it looks like it's not simple. Like, it requires a lot of education, / like, I would need to know how to play, but yeah.
Well, as much as I hate to give my father any more ammunition in his all video games are just move forward and kill stuff. I mean, for the most part, that is pretty much all Destiny is.
True.
I think that's such a unfairly broad statement about gaming. I mean, you could be that broad about just about anything in life.
True. You could.
I mean, you could distill life into all it is procreating and then dying, but that would be an severe distillation of the human experience.
You've removed all of the pleasure and the pain from it.
Yeah. But Destiny has a lot of really good pathways to get into the game, and there's a lot of good activities for, whatever you want to get out of it, you can get out of it. So, like, if you're somebody who hates competitive stuff but wants to play with other people, there's a lot of PvE stuff that's a lot of fun that does not require a huge amount of skill. I mean, there is really competitive play in there if you do multiplayer, And then there's also really complicated raid stuff, which, you know, that does require, you know, a decent amount of know-how and playtime. Yeah, that's a game that I have sunk like 5 years of my life into. As pathetic
You've
as
got like all the swag at this point, right?
like all the exotic guns and all like this, pretty much, yes. There's a couple that I haven't gotten just because they're based off RNG, and I've had some supremely bad luck with some RNG in that game. But that's part of what I've been streaming, is kind of they've reached a point where the game base is so big that when the new expansion comes out in now November, they're going to be vaulting a lot of content because they just have to make room for new stuff. So there's certain things that are going away forever that I haven't gotten, and so between now and November, I'm just trying to amass all of it. It's not the most fun thing in the world, but if I don't get it done, that's gonna be an itch that I'll never be able to scratch, and it's gonna drive me nuts. So I'm still debating if in the stream I should kill the music for whatever game I'm playing and let the music that I'm playing through the radio station come through. Right now I'm listening to a bunch of chip tunes. It's very hard to find music I can stream that's not DMCA protected.
Right. Yeah.
Although I was just watching, you ever watch Hot Ones on YouTube?
Occasionally.
So T-Pain was on, and he's actually got a whole new set of music that he's released specifically for streamers to be able to use.
Nice.
From me.
Ha! As feeble as your words.
Feast of the arcade. All right. I don't know why I trouble myself.
Man. It's weird seeing the Zerg pop up in here.
Fall back.
Was StarCraft ever a game that you were into, or not really?
You know, I played the original, but then I never played 2.
Yeah, I enjoyed the campaign. I never was able to get into the competitive play. It's too... it's too much of a very specific kind of thing, and I did not enjoy it.
Ow.
Why I trouble myself.
I am very intrigued to pick up, and I might pick it up to stream on like if I pick a night for like playing nostalgic games, the re-released HD versions of Command and Conquer.
I've opened my tunnel as well.
Yeah.
Because I love Command and Conquer and Red Alert. Oh my god, those two games.
Oh my lord, I put so much time into those. Like, I was really... I loved Tiberian Sun.
Yeah.
And I loved Red Alert 2, specifically. Like, those were awesome games. And I played... CNCNet has them for free still as Abandonware. And, like, I occasionally will just go pick up a random game and play it, because it was good stuff.
I think for me, the thing that I really want to see is they remastered all the FMVs for it.
Really?
And like I can't imagine that shit holds up today. I mean, it was so cheesy when it aired in the original games that by today's standards, it's got to be laughable.
I would assume that it is.
Did you ever play a game called The Daedalus Encounter on the PC?
Yeah.
It was an FMV game. I mean, might have been one of the last big ones. But did you ever play any FMV games on the PC when you were growing up? Like Phantasmagoria or...
I don't think I did. I actually, my parents didn't let me play PC games until I turned 12.
Oh, that was probably a
So-
smart decision.
Yeah.
I definitely think me having a computer in my room from the age of like 4 was maybe a dangerous thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was a dangerous thing. But, like, the first computer that we had in the house, I was 1, and it was an IBM PC Junior.
Here we go.
So if you didn't start really playing games until you were 12, that means you
Yeah.
were playing games from like 2001.
Yeah, so what happened is we had a computer, and I wasn't allowed to play games, but I downloaded a bunch of games, and I would play when my parents weren't around. That's how I was playing, like, the early Command & Conquerors. That was on a Packard Bell.
Oh man,
386,
Packard Bell.
with I think it was a 400 meg hard drive and 8 megs of RAM, and I needed 12 to play Monopoly. And I, like, I don't know what year it was that I figured out Kazaa. It must have
Kazaa!
been like 97.
Oh my god.
98.
Yeah.
And, like, when I figured out how to use Kazaa at like 8 or 9 years old, it was just like, holy shit, the world.
Did you ever use Hyperlink HQ?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my god. I mean, that's the Wild West of the internet days. When you,
Yeah.
I mean, there was shit that I was finding on the internet that nobody should ever see.
Right. Oh yeah, no, completely. Completely.
Too much for you.
It's weird when I think back to, like, the first laptop I had was a Texas Instruments laptop.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And it was like one of the first ones with a full color screen, and
Oh.
it was a big deal that it had a 250 megabyte hard drive. And I distinctly remember installing Windows 95 on it when it came out, and it was on like 90 floppy disks. And I remember returning the laptop relatively soon after getting it because they had I was able to get it with a 500 gigabyte screen and 500 gigabyte hard drive and an LCD screen instead of a TFT screen.
All right then.
So computers are a weird thing to have been like basically the same age as modern computing, and just having grown up with all the changes that have come along with it.
Yep.
I mean, we had a Mac LC2 as our home computer, like in the early '90s, and I remember there was a game that I got for it when we picked up the Mac called Jump Raven that required 8 megabytes of RAM, and the computer only had 4. And my dad went out and got more RAM for the computer, and it cost like $100 a megabyte.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, we went to Egghead and we bought 8 megs of RAM when we upgraded so that I could play Monopoly. And oh, well, will you look at that?
We won again.
And this time I upgraded the bots.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Let's go one
I
more.
did. Yeah. Yeah, that was us playing against whatever the second level is. Let's see. What was that? What was the name of that level? They were on recruit instead of on beginner.
All right, let's kick it up a notch.
Okay, we're gonna try adept and see what happens.
Oh god, we just get our asses handed to us.
Yeah, probably.
I also think it's helping that I'm playing the same character over and over again, so I'm pretty confident in my abilities with this particular character.
Yeah, I am too. I'm not gonna change anytime soon.
Ooh, I got a loot chest.
Ooh. What's this phrase?
I got nothing that I even understand. Cool.
Yeah, the Packard Bell ran on Windows 3.1. And I remember when we upgraded it from 3.1 to 3.11 for work groups, and we bricked the computer, and we had to take it in. We had a friend who built machines from the computer show, which here was essentially like the traveling computer and electronics show that would sell parts.
So that's not the same show that Jobs and Wozniak debuted the first Mac at, is it?
I want to say it is.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I want to say it is. It was the same show, but it you know, we're talking like, you know, a decade plus later. So
The battle begins shortly.
Yeah, the computers that we had for the house were always Macs, because I think it's just my school system was very Mac centric, so having a Mac at home was kind of a necessity.
The dinosaur game.
The dinosaur game on the Mac.
Yeah, on Mac there was a game where you were like a Hypsilodon or something, and you ran around a prehistoric world.
I've never played that. Played a lot of Oregon Trail.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I did too.
Actually,
Oregon Trail was also on the list.
One of my
I downloaded and played.
One of my favorite games as a kid on the Mac that you can't even play anymore because it relies on HyperCard, which there's no emulator for anymore, was a game called Spelunky. It was more of like an educational game, but it was all... You would explore this cave system and come across these like weird, crazy rooms where you'd learn about neon signs and the different gases and how they glow, and you'd learn about physics and chemistry, and it was a very cool game that I think I might have been the only person who enjoyed that particular title. But it was a Sierra game, which, man, even that as a studio, I don't...
It's like, I loved both Myth and Myst.
Yeah, it was a lot like those.
Oh man, these guys are definitely significantly better.
Yeah, I know, I already had to teleport back.
Yeah, you teleported and I died, so... I made the mistake of staying. I should not have stayed.
Yeah, there's a lot of game types from that era that I just wish... I mean, I think for nostalgia reasons more than anything else, I wish still existed. But I don't think they do very well now, because I don't think young people today would have the patience for them. But like point-and-click adventures, I was talking to Kayla this morning about Monkey Island, Curse of Monkey Island. I mean, that was one of my favorite games growing up. I played a game called Starship Titanic, which was a game written by Douglas Adams. So it had all the humor of, you know, the Hitchhiker's Guide books, and
Yeah.
I loved that game. But I don't think kids today would play it.
Choose a talent.
Actually, one of the earliest computer games I can remember, and it was on the first computer that I had in my bedroom, was a Who Framed Roger Rabbit game that you had to play with a joystick.
Yeah.
And I loved that game.
The first seed is sprouted.
Like playing King's Quest X. The graphics were just so amazing.
Well, I think the thing that really... The game that really changed PC gaming for me, and it was like on the first computer I ever built, I was like 9 or 10, was Duke Nukem.
Oh.
Which is a game that I absolutely should not have been playing at 9 years old.
No, but you did, and it was glorious.
I mean, it had strippers, it had
Yeah.
violence, it had phrases that I didn't quite understand.
I really enjoyed... So I played... I don't know if you ever got the CD for this, but I played Chex Quest.
Chex Quest?
Chex Quest.
Like the
It was
the
Doom
cereal?
engine. Yes, it was the Doom engine. And they had repurposed it and rebranded it for Chex cereal.
Really?
And it came, yes, it was a CD that came in a box of Chex cereal.
Wow.
And, like, the game was exactly the same as Doom, but with like a spoon, or sorry, it was like an electric spork as one of the weapons. It was
That's
definitely
nuts.
like
That's like
A new seed is
a few years ago. I mean, a few years ago. It was probably more than 10. Burger King came out with a series of games when right at the transition from Xbox original to Xbox 360, because you could play it on either system. There was like 3 different games that were all based off of the creepy king character. Like, there was literally a game where you played as the Burger King king. It was called Sneak King, and the whole point of the game was you were like sneaking around different. One of the levels was like a construction site. Another level was a logging site. Another level was a suburban, like, cul-de-sac, and you were sneaking around people's houses and work sites, leaving Burger King treats. It was so fucking creepy.
That sounds, you know, it's not as bad as Ronald McDonald, but it sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, at least Ronald McDonald, you know, as a clown, you can kind of. It was that like plastic face that the king has, and it just made it so creepy. But actually, it's weird that you bring up checks, because I just downloaded for VR. They have a checks game in VR. So they must still be. Somebody at that team must have either seen that old game and said we should redo that, or.
seed is on the verge of
Oh man, if they did, I'm gonna have to play it now. Goodness, that was by far one of my favorite games. Nice, I have some help now.
Yeah, Duke Nukem for me was the first game that I ever played with other people on the internet.
Wow.
I mean, I bought like all the map packs so that I could play with more and more people on the internet, and that opened the floodgate into MMOs. Like I played. Did you ever play Ultima Online?
Yep.
Yeah, Ultima Online, EverQuest.
Oh. Gross.
I mean, Ultima Online was the first game that I learned that, like, I started trying to figure out ways to cheese the game. You know how you could fight a mine in the mountains and mine materials for better weapons? So, like, I would go find one. And this was before anybody started writing scripts for it. And I would, like, balance a deck of cards on the spacebar so that it would just keep spamming the mine button. And I would load up my character with like a dozen pickaxes, so if when they broke, it would just pull a new one. So that when I woke up in the morning, I'd have tons of ingots that I could convert into something else. Different time, man. And then having a PC in my room when EverQuest came out, like my grades absolutely suffered then. Because I would stay up until like ungodly hours of the night. Oh, we were getting fucked by this plant thing.
Yeah, we are. The plant things are really, really bad for us.
We need to, when those seeds come up, we need to make sure we get those.
The enemy's terrors have fallen. Oh,
I do wonder if I could replay those games now, if they would even be remotely fun for me. I mean, the last time I tried playing the original Mario, I honestly did not really enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, that's hard though, because like, you know, the point of playing that game is not really like it's not anything related to the gameplay. It's related to the fact that it makes you feel like you're a child again.
Yeah.
I think I regret this.
Because the gameplay is garbage and the graphics are garbage, but
Well, especially on a modern day TV, it's really hard to get those consoles to look right if you still have like the old console. God,
did you play Hocus Pocus?
No. Was that based off the movie?
I don't know, honestly. It was in a Pocky game that you played in DOS, so
you would best be ready to gather another.
No, the only ones like that I liked playing. I like Zerg, not Zerg. Oh my God, why can't I think of the name of it? Zork? Is that what I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
Yeah, Zork. Text-based games were not that, as much as I found them interesting, I was still a little too young to be able to want to extend my imagination that far, and so I never really played a whole lot of them.
Yep.
I went back to Zork after I started playing some of the LucasArts games like Loom or the Indiana Jones ones, because a lot of that, even though it was graphical, it was basically graphical versions of those text-based adventures. Yeah, Loom was one of my favorite games. I still find the music to that game incredibly nostalgic, haunting, beautiful.
All good words.
I actually, speaking of Ultima Online, the Tristram, or not Tristram, fuck, there was one town that had a piece of music that I still find myself at random humming, just because it's just so burned into my head. I wonder if anybody's got an Ultima Online server still up and running.
Oh, someone has to.
I don't know. A lot of those source codes disappeared. I mean, it's disappointing, but
It is.
all right. Like, if I could find an old EverQuest server, I'm really curious what that would feel like now. And that was a whole era of MMOs that did pretty well. You had there was one that Microsoft released that was like, I want to say King Arthur, but it wasn't King Arthur. It was like, fuck, I don't even remember what it was. But I really liked that one. I think that era for me kind of stopped with World of Warcraft, because I burned myself out so bad on it.
You just had to go after all those wars, didn't you?
Yes, I absolutely did. I have recently started playing a little bit of Guild Wars with Kayla, because that's like her go-to game, and I've enjoyed it. I mean, because it doesn't have the kind of no life curve that World of Warcraft has. Oh, there's a seed.
Oh,
Yes?
where?
No? They're getting it. No.
No.
Oh fuck.
Did they get it?
Yeah, they're gonna get it. Oh fuck. There's like 4 of them on it. God damn it. I accidentally attacked one of those like the characters you can kill to get access to them, and instead of attacking them, that sucked. That was most unfortunate.
Guys, no, leave me alone. Shit.
So I actually have 2 viewers right now. One of them's Kayla.
Nice. Hey, Kayla.
I need to get a lot more viewers, man. I've done 0 marketing so far, though. Like, I haven't posted on Reddit or any of the places where I know I could get some initial viewers at.
Yep.
A big thing that I was waiting on was getting my customized graphics, which now that I have, I think I'm ready to post, because they look really great. I'm really pleased with what the guy did. That dragon logo for my account, we're going to turn that into a 3D printable keychain, and I'm going to raffle those off every stream for sure at some point, because I'll just print a whole batch of them at work. I mean, the way I figure it is, if I can at least at some point find a handful of people who work in a creative field to watch a stream or 2 of mine, and they follow what I do, and at least tune in to watch and ask questions about 3D printing, or ideally even share some similar interests and either play some of the games that I do, that it'll turn into some projects.
I believe I gathered the seed.
What do you do with it?
I don't know. What do I do with it?
Is there anywhere that's telling you to like plant it? Plant the seed?
No, it just said gathered the seed, and then I gathered it. And now there's a little thing that says my name on a flag next to it.
Where you at? Where you at? Are you surrounded by guys right now? Are you getting attacked?
No, I got it without anybody else being around.
Are you
Okay, I'm
ready
just gonna
for
go to where
it?
the other seat is gonna be. I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, I see it. I will come help protect it. Although I only have half health. Oh, I see. You see at the bottom of the screen?
Yeah.
In the bottom right? 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3.
Yeah. Got it.
You know, for two smart guys, we tend to not read a lot.
Shouldn't you be
Yeah, I
gathering
know.
that seed?
We read enough during the week.
Exactly. We work enough during the week and read enough during the week. Exactly. There's
You
no
had better
reason
go
why we
heal.
should have to read more.
Why not?
Okay, cool. So now we got 2.
We need one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did some really cool texture tests this week. I can send you some photos on Monday. They didn't turn out great because I didn't print them in an orientation that in my head I knew I should have changed it, but I assumed that she sent them to me in the orientation she wanted them printed in. She's a former, I was just telling you, she's a former HP employee who I actually saw some of her work on LinkedIn that had been printed by I want to say it might have been Forecast, but they were printed in just standard MJF, like on a 4200, so it was all, you know, just black textured stuff. Oh shit!
We're good. We got this.
They abandoned it.
They did.
Oh no, there's behind us, behind us. Oh shit! Oh no! Oh, they're gonna get it. Oh, they're so gonna get it. Yep, and that sucks.
Man.
What chance do you stand
Crap.
against my terrors?
And we're both dead for like 40 seconds.
I know.
So...
Well, that print's still chugging along. Having the Ultimaker in my apartment throughout COVID, it's been nice because it allows me to at least, you know, keep doing some 3D printing stuff at home. I feel a lot more comfortable now with somebody who's learning production so that, you know, God forbid I get exposed and I have to quarantine for 14 days, that I've got somebody who can at least still come in and run the machines.
I ended up... Jesus Christ.
Looks like I
Those
There we
things
go.
are so powerful.
They just
And they are
blew
just
through our...
massive.
I know. Well, we're one away, so we should get one soon. As soon as this period is over.
Okay, I gotta go up here and go to these. Oh my god, they're all there. Holy...
Oh, did you go top?
Yeah, and all of their heroes are here, and I'm gonna die. But, I got rid of the creep. And now I'm gonna go to the bottom. Oh, the creep. Okay, perfect.
Your core is under attack. Don't let any moss grow.
Fuck, I died again. I got ballsy, and I paid the price. I think we might lose this one, Richard.
Give it a second.
We need to get that seed as soon as it spawns again.
Yes, we do. I would agree with you on that.
Can you view your core health? Oh yeah. No. I think that's kind of fucked up. Man, that death clock just sucks at this point in the
I
game.
won't be dying today.
Alright, we just need one seed. There we go.
My,
There it is.
yet another seed. I trust you know what
Let's
to
go
do,
for it.
heroes.
Why am I stopped? Just run through all of them.
Fine.
It's hilarious. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
I'm trying to clear all the stuff that's...
Gather the seed before your enemy does.
And I got you covered. Oh man, you are so close to death.
Yes,
You better
I am.
Hearthstone out of here as soon as you get that seed.
Yep. There we go.
Splendid seeds! Go forth, my terrors, and destroy!
Should I continue here?
Do not let them attack your core. Enemy slain!
If only they could see me now.
Yes.
All right, now we're cooking with gas.
Yes! Victory is near.
Oh, they're still pretty high health.
Where to?
I got polymorphs. What the fuck? Oh, I'm about to get fucked.
Back to the battle then. Keep going.
Spells are ready.
Oh, what just happened to me?
Did you just die?
Yeah, I went from full health to nothing in about 2 seconds. It said polymorph, and
Yeah, that happened to me. I think your health drops down.
yeah, I just watched my health. disappear.
I just got polymorphed again. Fuck.
Just warming up.
Admit it. You enjoy that.
I need to get out of here.